This is a distribution point for gas masks in central Tel Aviv. It's a normal working day, and yet ordinary Israelis take the time to equip themselves against possible attacks, against missiles carrying chemical agents. Tension in this country is constant. It was already high in the region before the Gaza flotilla incident, and then it got higher. Tel Aviv is within range of missiles in neighboring Syria, missiles in Hezbollah hands in Lebanon, and in Hamas hands in Gaza. Iran also has many which could reach here. Israeli security sources are saying that never before has there been such a strong potential for a coordinated use of firepower between Syria, Hezbollah, Hamas and Iran. Strong motivation to have a mask.
I'm a father of 4 kids, so I think of course it's necessary. As an Israeli, as a parent, I don't think the talk is theoretical at all. There's a real threat out there. They're taking it seriously. Everybody in the country is getting one of these masks, and I hope to God that we never have to use them.
But there is another fear, which a mask won't help, and that is nuclear attack. The international community shares the concern that the Iranian government's enrichment of uranium might not be for civil use, as Tehran says it is, but instead be meant for nuclear weapons. The tensions include the possibility of an Israeli preemptive strike on Iranian sites. A veteran of the Israeli defense elite acknowledges that such action could trigger massive retaliation, but he says Israel would survive.
Given the historic experience of the Jewish people, when someone, time and again, twice a week, declares that he is going to wipe us out, we cannot allow him to have the tools to wipe us out. I think that a military option is a very last resort. Israel cannot accept nuclear Iran, period. We cannot allow it to happen, and every price is worth paying to prevent it of happening.
The right-of-centre government in Israel today is speaking cautiously on the subject. Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered the members of his cabinet not to comment publicly on Iran. But although careful language is being used, the strike option does not seem to have been ruled out.
Israel prefers to see a diplomatic solution here. Israel wants to see the international community act. What will destabilize the entire region is Iran achieving nuclear weapons. This will be a nightmare not only for Israel, but I dare say for all our Arab neighbors. And we would urge members of the international community, if you are not serious about diplomacy, if you are not serious about applying pressure on the Iranian regime, so diplomacy will fail. And then you will force other people to think of other options.
Israel took a military option in 1981 to remove a similar fear. It destroyed an atomic reactor in Iraq. Saddam Hussein had said openly that his Osirak facility was the first step towards an Arabic atom bomb. A pilot who was on the raid describes it.
The real essence of the mission is within 1 minute. That is the time that you pull. You have to recognize, to identify the target in the right place. Then you need to roll over, dive, and release the bomb. And when I came back, I remember embracing my wife and telling, hey, we knocked down the nuclear reactor. By the way, there were a lot of tension right after, because we had to go into, there was some fears that the Iraqis may attack back Israel. So we had to be on alert for a long time. The Iranian case is significantly more complicated. A, because of the range. B, because there's no single target that you can hit. The infrastructure is spread all over, underground, and very hard to damage. And therefore, I think it's almost impossible to predict from the previous case to the Iranian case. I think it's completely different. The essence of a nuclear threat is the same, but other than that, everything is different.
There is no official confirmation of military preparations against an Iranian objective, but there was no concealing Israel's biggest ever exercise in civil defense just days ago. It lasted a week. Here in Hadera, the scenario is a passenger train hit by a missile. We ask an officer how Israel could handle itself if its air force struck Iran's nuclear facilities and if retaliation brought hundreds of missiles coming simultaneously from the north, south and east.
We actually make the preparation for the whole scenarios. It doesn't matter if it's Iran, Syria and others. I believe that we can handle this situation, and I believe that in worst case scenario we can respond in the best that we can.
While this was going on, the International Atomic Energy Agency said Iran was preparing extra equipment to enrich uranium. The agency said Iran's partially enriched uranium stockpile had grown to 2.4 tons, so that even if half of it were shipped out as proposed by Brazil and Turkey, that would still leave Iran enough material for a nuclear weapon. The head of the Persian language section of Voice of Israel radio says Iran's long-range missiles are also a threat to London, Paris, Berlin and Rome. We ask if it is illusory to think that bombing Iran could put an end to this threat.
Nuclear process is a chain. If you take one part of the chain, it doesn't exist. The two main parts of the Iranian nuclear plant is Natanz, which is the enrichment installations, and Isfahan. So if you bomb these two parts, you will delay, you will paralyze their effort to make the bomb. But this is a short-time solution. As long as they don't fear that their regime will be toppled, they will not stop it.
Israel is not certain that non-military action will guarantee a neutralization of its Iranian fears. Strong economic sanctions are one of the main international talking points, but UN Security Council members China and Russia are among those with veto powers, and both have strong economic ties with Iran, notably concerning energy resources, and so are reluctant to back a far-reaching embargo. So Israel is keeping its guard up, ready to get to the shelters fast.
We have some neighbors that their goal and target is one: to kill us, to destroy us. So we have to be ready to make it, and no more time than 3 minutes, 180 seconds.
The head of the Center for Iranian Studies at Tel Aviv University raises the merits of dialogue and diplomacy. He compares them with the sophistication of chess.
If we want to weaken Iran, we should solve the Palestinian problem. We should solve the problem of Israel and Syria. There are other ways that you can weaken Iran rather than just military attack. And I think military attack is always, they say, they will be on the table. So let it be on the table.
Some 40,000 Iranian Jews live in Israel. Roughly 20,000 Jews still live in Iran. Israel is widely believed to have its own nuclear capacity, but has never officially admitted it. Strategists say that if Iran got the bomb, other regional players such as Saudi Arabia, Egypt and Turkey would also want to have it.